looking over here. All right. Welcome to Tuesdays at lunchtime. Glad you could join us. Just getting things running here. Yep. Got a good angle. Oh, interesting. My Atlas cup made it into the frame. Nice. Well, happy lunch. I see some folks in the comments already. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Aiden. Tim's here. All right. Let's see, who else did I see earlier? If you see that blue car in the comments. Oh, Noah's in here too. That's right. Yeah, that's just my Subaru account that I used to do videos on for that, and so I just kind of use that to help me see what's going on here. And I've got the camera set up so that way you guys shouldn't see a weird mirror effect. You should be able to read the cars and all that other fun stuff. Well, cool. Washington Railway. Hi, thanks for joining us. Bob Eckhart, thanks for coming in. Rick's here. Hey, buddy. Joe's here. Oh, man. Party time. If you guys haven't already, hit a like on this before you forget. Hope everyone's enjoying their lunch. It's been an interesting week since I last spoke with you guys. These weekly Tuesday live streams have been, I think they've been going all right. Let me know in the comments if you've been enjoying this. Even if you're watching this after the fact, I'm thinking of doing like the next session to be like a Q&A, but then also like for folks that can't make it to the live, the rest of the week leading up to it, be like, hey, send me your questions and I'll answer both live questions and ones that for folks that couldn't come in, and we can kind of tackle a Q&A with a live stream. That might be fun. Looks like Doxy's in here. Pish pish. Okay, I need to read these things before I come in. Oh, the T1 dance beat. Never mind, I got it. It kind of split it up weird. Oh man. Hey Glenn, thanks for joining us. Yeah, it's a great day. Super nice outside. I'm actually slightly bummed that I'm stuck indoors for a little bit, but I got some yard work and things I'm doing out there. But yeah, it's been a fun week, and you'll notice right now there's not a whole lot of UP on the line. I've been getting some shots in of a couple of our Northern Pacific and Great Northern kind of buddies. My friend Sean will probably enjoy that quite a bit. Trying to get a few angles for shorts and stuff in there. The shorts have been going really well. Let me know if you guys have been seeing those, if you enjoy what we're making there. All right, Daniel Kane, thanks for doing this. Love the show. Thanks for stopping in. Hey, Bill, how's it going? I know now to call you Bill instead of William, like you're in trouble. You're not. At least not with me. But yeah, been shuffling some things around on the line. If you haven't already seen, I don't think I've made a YouTube short of it yet, but Instagram, I've already made a reel of the Christmas line already in full swing up there. It feels a little early, if I'm being completely honest, but I mean, more time to enjoy it, I suppose, and all the fire and brimstone, creepy death kind of Halloween stuff. Not that I didn't like it, but it's hard to like turn that into like a Thanksgiving kind of scene. So got the snow laid, used a different technique this time. I used, instead of like the puffy buffalo kind of snow that you kind of get in rolls at Walmart, I used snow sheets. And so they're kind of thicker, but in general, the whole thing is, it's more concentrated, but it leaves a much smoother kind of appearance. I do and don't like working with that. I might go back to the other stuff next year, but it's only a temporary thing. The more I'm thinking about this elevated line thing, if you're new to the channel, the corner of my layout is an elevated line, and we like to decorate it and change it up with the seasons and such. And for Christmas, obviously, there's a whole town and everything up there. But what I want to do is either make like a scenery-based thing that I can put in there and then lift out and put a different one in. The trouble is space, especially if there's like, you know, mountains and tunnels and stuff to it. Essentially make the oval of track permanent, but then everything within the oval is a different kind of scene that we kind of drop in. Because redoing the line every time is a bit of work. Mercifully, the construction techniques and stuff that we've used up there aren't super labor intensive to get going. It's mostly spray paint some gray on paper, crinkle up the paper, uncrinkle it, lay it, and then fill any holes and gaps with some bushes, and then dab on with a sponge with some gray paint to give it some kind of rock texture effect. And that's been really effective. And it's simple enough to where I can tear down and recreate and tear down and recreate all sorts of different kinds of scenes and such without making it super labor intensive. Let's see what I've missed in here. Newt's in here. Time for lunch. Yeah. I always try and eat before this, so I'm not. But you guys enjoy. That's what I'm. The whole idea is if you got a lunch break or time around the lunch hour, at work things always pick up around lunch because people can leave work and go do other things, like they'll come get an oil change or something, or they'll come look at a new car or whatever. And so things always pick up around lunchtime at work, but I'm off on Tuesdays, so figure this is a good time. It's been fun to do these. I enjoy doing more weekly live streams. This has been a lot of fun. Tim says, love that green Great Northern boxcar. Good old Rocky the Goat. That's right. Most people don't know that that's his name, but yeah, Rocky is back here on a new boxcar. Picked that up from Atlas. If you can't tell from the cup and from the thumbnail I chose for this video, been a big fan of Atlas recently. Again, things aren't perfect. I still get, especially since I do things mostly secondhand, things are more easily broken, it seems like. There's a lot more finite details on Atlas cars. And so as a result, there's a higher risk of, getting things that are broken. Like if I grab the Rail King work caboose thing from this guy, also pretty sure these never existed. But it's fun. It's like a bay window work caboose. I need to fix, apparently, the lights out in this. But you got molded in handrails here. These handrails are, they're plastic, but they're pretty resilient. It's kind of that bendy ABS plastic. Molded in ladders. No, underbody detail that's going to get snagged on anything. It's still nicely detailed, and I love these. But way less to go wrong with something like this. I would not dare chuck an Atlas car. Because I know it wouldn't agree with that. So the Atlas stuff, I know, is going to be a little bit more on the fragile side. So they're Italian, apparently. Let's see, what else are we missing? Lou's in here. I like the Atlas glass. That's not quite a York find. That's a York gift from Ross. Ross gave us all cups for the 3 Rails for Dads. I'm sure to hold us over as we wait for our truck to someday be a reality. But yeah, it's nice, and it's the only other than I've got a koozie from JD Stucks. Other than that, I don't really have any train drinkware kind of stuff, so it's just kind of, I find myself using that for the last 2 weeks. Welcome back, Gravedigger. Finally back after a long hiatus. Took a break from trains for a few months. That's okay. For some people, they need a break from this stuff. I used to always have folks that were concerned, oh man, Dadified's making 2 full videos a week, and shorts, and live stuff, and 3 Rails for Dads. Oh no, he's going to get burnt out from doing too much. If anything, I was kind of bummed that I backed off because I just have so many ideas and so many things that I want to share. But I'm kind of glad that I did dial things back slightly because it's a less strenuous production schedule kind of deal. Self-imposed, obviously. I don't have a boss. I do, my wife, but that's a different thing. It's been nice being able to spend more time, not just on ideas, but cultivating those ideas and trying to make good on it. And then I have enough time midway through the week If I realize this idea is not really going to pan out how I wanted it to, I can table it or scrap it or whatever and still have enough time to make something else. So yeah, Tyler's in here. Hey Tyler, thanks for joining us. Washington Railboy, I got a Lionel Trains post-war 2056 from 1952. Awesome. Our oldest train is that 1947 Scout, 1654. Well, that's cool. I mean, shoot, those post-war trains are hard to kill. They just keep chugging. I have been using the line. I've got my ZW. I'm using the line more with conventional, not just because it's fun to run the conventional trains around here every now and then, the older ones, I mean, but this behemoth behind me, the Great Northern articulated beast, is still conventional. But yesterday I just got in the mail the Blue Nami board for Steam that I need to convert this guy to Blue Nami. I was actually running him in conventional and my Blue Nami converted Union Pacific Bull Moose. I was running them together, and that was really kind of fun. They're big. They have quite the presence on the line. I'm not used to having articulated engines that are that big. The only other engine that's really as big as these two is our Scale 844, who just barely fakes his way around the line. He looks all right on these wider turns, but around those 048 sections, I kind of avoid filming him there because it looks rather silly. And that's actually kind of a bit of a teaser as to what I'm working on for this week. This Friday got a video that is basically done. I just need to edit a few more things and get it going. But yeah, there's we're looking at I don't want to spoil it, but you know, some of these cars are semi-scale, some of them are scale. I've purchased a lot more scale stuff recently, and I suppose that's a good segue to talk about my recent find. And that's this guy. Let me see in here if you guys can see that all right. What else am I missing first before I get to that? Speaking of 3 Rows 4 Dads, when the next one? The next one is on the 14th of this month. So, wow, yeah, 10 days away. I guess we got it going. JD's in here. What's up, buddy? Were your ears burning? I was just talking about the koozie. Because I got an Atlas Cup, but I have a, enjoy JD Stucks anytime with O-Gauge trains. I made like some silly little commercial thing with his koozie ages ago, like it was a beverage commercial. That was fun to do. I need to find that koozie and do that again. It's up some. All the koozies are kind of in a bin for like summer stuff because that's about when they get used. It seems like. Oh, that's funny. Noah says, "I'm gonna watch I Love Toy Trains all aboard." Yep, I mean that stuff's a classic stuff. But yeah, I want to talk about a little bit about this guy. This is my latest find, and it's new, and I got it local. Well, local-ish, if you can call Lincoln, Nebraska local. That's like a 45-50-minute drive for me. So not bad. But yes, it's an Atlas Woodside Reefer. Surprise, surprise. I love these things. Actually, really just, I feel like the Steam era classics has really been my jam with Atlas recently because Steam era cars aren't gigantic. And, you know, folks that collect modern stuff, that's fine. You need modern freight, that's fine. Modern freight is gigantic, so if you take a scale steam engine, like this humble 10-wheeler, and you put a row of Husky stacks behind it, ain't gonna look a little silly. You put a Berwick, you put some Gundersons on there, yeah, that's silly. And I know there's a lot of guys that love Atlas that are all about that big blue box bliss, if I can speak. So that's fine, but we don't do modern down here. I do all steam and kind of early diesel. Pretty much, if my criteria for the engines that we get is if they were put into production after steam, then we don't have it. Pretty much, I only have steam era diesels roaming around the line with our beloved Chugga Chuggas. But no, again, back to this guy. You'll notice there's a certain name on here. It's Omaha Cold Storage. And I've not made it a secret that we live in the home of Union Pacific, their HQ just down the road, not even 20 minutes. But yeah, also Chicago Northwestern. I'm trying to get more CNW here, especially as I realize how much CNW actually came through Omaha. Chicago Northwestern had quite the presence in our home city, and there's even a bridge. It's a walking path now, rails to trails kind of deal. But my son pointed out one time we were stuck in traffic. He goes, "Dad, Chicago Northwestern," and I'm like, "What? What do you?" Just out of the blue, he just says, "Dad, Chicago Northwestern," and I look around. I look up on the bridge, and there's this very, very rusty sign, but it's definitely in the shape of that Chicago Northwestern. If you squint, you can still kind of see the lettering on it. I'm like, oh my gosh! And sure enough, I look at old maps and stuff, and that was a Chicago Northwestern line that was just south of the UP main line going through Omaha. So Omaha Cold Storage in Atlas on the line. This, I believe, was a custom run from Mr. Muffins. So how did I get it from a local shop? Well, the local shop ordered stuff from Mr. Muffins, and there was one left. My buddy Sean told me about it, and I called over and paid for it in case somebody else snatched it up. And then I was out that way and picked it up. So yeah, this thing's fantastic, and I love this size. The 40-foot reefers have really been something I've been trying to collect more of because they look great behind my semi-scale engines, my scale engines. They got tons of great details, and you can even hide some Rail King Woodside reefer cars in with them. You'll notice along the bottom of nearly every older reefer car, there's kind of a black stripe hiding that bottom edge, and that detail is molded in to all of the Rail King Woodside reefer cars. So just a little black paint pen along the bottom edge, and in some cases I'll even like color in black on the molded in details. These are obviously separately applied, and these doors can actually open. But the rest of the details on the door I've been painting in on the older Rail King cars to kind of blend in and expand the Woodside reefer train. I've got a video ready for Wednesday, for Woodside Wednesday, to have that. So that should be fun. But yeah, really liking these 40-foot reefer cars as I've been expanding the collection there. Let's get back to some comments and questions and such. Let's see, elusive JD in his natural habitat. Yeah, it's good. It was so great to catch up with him at York. Really great to catch up with everybody. Some of you were there. Let me know in the comments if you were at the York Train Show and managed to say hi. But it was great meeting everybody, and I did kind of like I just watched D.A. Griffin's York video. He's like, I did more talking than I did train shopping, and I realized, yeah, I was watching other people's videos. I'm like, man, I completely missed that, or I didn't even go into that hall, or I didn't see that layout, or I should have spent more time looking at that layout and that display. There was a lot of stuff I missed, but my cheekbones are killing me, and my voice was shot from talking with all the folks that I met there. It was fantastic. Let's see. When did I get 844? Bill asked a couple minutes ago, or half an hour ago, depending on how long I've been rambling. We got 844 back in April, and actually, I'm glad, maybe he's still in here, I'm glad Jason actually, I was able to reach out to him, because the guy who was selling it was part of the Detroit 3-railers. And so I reached out to Jason and I said, hey, it looks like some of the pictures and videos that he has of this engine are from the D3R layout. Do you know this guy? Do you know anything else you can tell me about it? Because it's a really great price, but I don't want it to be a really great price because it's a lemon or it's beat up or there's something wrong with it. He's like, no, he's a good seller. He's a good dude. So he kind of vouched for him. And then, I mean, he disclosed everything that he knew was wrong with it, which is mostly cosmetic. But when it showed up, it wasn't doing anything. And I'm like, oh no. Oh no, did I just get a lemon? Jason just vouched for him. And it wasn't Jason's fault at all, because in the videos that he showed me, it was running fine. So something happened in shipping. Something got jostled. And so I freaked out and I did some troubleshooting and I messaged my local SID. Everyone needs somebody like Sid. If you have O-gauge trains, you need somebody like him that you can contact that'll get back to you in a reasonable time. And Sid usually does for me. I don't know why he keeps answering the call because I'm pretty sure I annoy the hell out of him. Bless his heart. But so he's like, hey, if you've tried all these things, the last thing you can check is literally go into the engine, unplug that gigantic thing, unplug a couple other things, plug them back in. That's essentially the equivalent of a hard reset. It's like removing the battery from a car that's having like electrical gremlins and stuff. All right, unplug it and plug it back in methodology. That's what tech support is going to tell you anyways, my friend. So I did that and it works. Works great. It's one of my favorite engines to run, other than the fact that it'll completely destroy or run over anything else in its path. I left a semi-scale boxcar sticking out on the end of one of those lines there, and it shorted the track, but it didn't derail 844. It really messed up the semi-scale boxcar. It's like the little boxcar is like, "You shall not pass," and he's like, "Move!" and just. I was expecting fire. It was pretty catastrophic. But the 844 is fine because that thing's a beast. I'm bidding on a coal lot to pull behind 1601. Sweet, Tyler. Yeah, the good old Chesapeake and Ohio. My buddy Nick's Crossing just got a really awesome Allegheny, and he updated his with Cruise M from ERR. So yeah, that reminds me, I need to get to work on that tutorial video everyone was asking about. I need to update. That's the only reason I haven't done it to my my Western Pacific K-Line. I could just do it, boom, like that now, because I can practically do Cruise M upgrades in my sleep. But I have to film it. And so I have to have everything ready and have everything look nice and have the camera set up and make sure I've got everything ready to go. Because you don't want any hiccups when you're doing filming and such. And I would rather just get it done than film it. Tutorials are a bit of a pain, but I will do that. Oh, PRR is saying that he loves JD. I'm so glad Jason's back. I mean, he never left our hearts and minds, but good to see the updates and such. I loved, if you guys watched his video, I love the bloopers reel at the end. That's so Jason. It's just, and it's funny because like every now and then you meet somebody in person and they're like, man, they're nothing like they are on camera. Now, Jason's pretty accurate, can confirm, fun guy to be around. I've seen virtual railfan videos of Strasbourg steam pulling modern freight cars. Yeah, doesn't mean it's right. No, I don't particularly like blending modern with vintage. Not vintage. I like blending modern with vintage trains, like model trains, but I try and keep the trains on the track era specific. What's going on? Lunch with Dadified. That's right, Will. Welcome to the stream. I've seriously been, speaking of your beloved Santa Fe, I've seriously been considering getting a Northern. They're big. Part of it is just, I mean, I've got 844. It's a Northern. It's big. But 29, 26, and all those other Northerns with those, I think it's mostly the tender that really makes them gigantic. But I was even looking just like at pictures of like how much space is still between the firebox and the back wheels. Like those Santa Fe Northerns are just Goliaths. And I saw a couple on layouts at York, but I really should have just like actually picked one up in my hand so I could get a better sense of size. They can cheat their way around 048. Just like my 844, it won't look pretty. I won't be able to do higher speed stuff. But along these curves and stuff, they'd be fine. So I've been tempted to find, like, there's 2903 is at the Illinois Railway Museum, and there's still quite a few of those left over from that run of Northerns, and so they're getting discounted quite a bit. So I've been thinking about getting one of those, but it would be the largest locomotive that we have. 844 is the same length as my Lionmaster Big Boy. And so fathoming an engine that's bigger than our big boys is just like might as well just get some. Maybe I can pull Modern Freight behind that. Mike, does the York change from Friday, Saturday, Sunday next fall help or hurt me considering I have to travel? That's a great question, Newt. And actually something that I'm wondering if that's going to help or hurt a lot of other folks as well. The only thing it kind of hurts is like Sunday has been my travel day to get back home. And so if the show is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if we want to stay on Sunday, we've either like got to do like a quick morning and then hop a plane ride back home, or I've got to cut into Monday if I drive again. Yes, you heard it. I did drive to York. That's a 17-hour hike for me from Omaha. So I didn't. The drive wasn't terrible. The drive back, I'm glad I took the break that I did, because I was just tired. We stayed up way too late, way too often at York. Jason, you're part of that problem. that was fun. Oh, of course, Will's in here. Oh wait, I need to scroll up a bit. I missed a few things. Tony Levels does a conversation. He's the guy at Wall of Steam Era Classics at York. Oh yeah. Yeah, Bill's talking about the same guy that I got a couple of cars from. I got pretty good deals on them from him. They're a little bit higher priced than some of the other spots there, but you can't beat his selection. It is literally a wall of Steam Era Classics. Really cool guy though too, and yeah, he'll swap if they're a 2-rail and you want it 3-rail, or vice versa. He'll swap them there for you. Noah says on Thursday I'm getting a new Pentrix DVD that shows Southern Pacific look like what it looked like in the 1950s. Nice. So yeah, 50s is late steam and early diesel. That's going to be some nice stuff there. That seems to be the sweet spot for most folks. I feel so like cliche, like, oh, I like late steam and early diesel. Everyone does. Everyone likes the 40s and 50s. Will says, coming to the Colorado Springs, we have 3 times 2900 class Northerns you can run. Yeah, 2903 is 2903 is at the Illinois Railway Museum, but Will probably already knows that, so he's probably asking where I'm getting one. If I tell you, then you'll buy it instead, and then I won't have an opportunity. So, but it's Dave from the Lionel store. Just got an email from Train saying they fixed my TMCC Santa Fe that was broken from York. Yay! I'm happy for you, Tyler. For those in the comments that don't know, Tyler's got my K-Line Allegheny, which might be a bit of a spoiler again for this Friday's video. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's fine. He keeps the 2-rail trucks, which is fine, because it just means he has a surplus probably of 2-rail trucks whenever he goes to York. So if he ever has to replace anything from 3-rail to 2-rail, he just has them ready to go. But yeah, okay, that's the thing. Thank you, Bill, for chiming in on this. Tony, the guy that has that all Steam Era Classics wall of goodness at York, was best friends with the guy that designed the whole line and designed, like, got all, like, found all the artwork and everything for all of those, because these things look super cool. I mean, they're already nice box cars, and they already have, I mean, they're already, they were nice cars before. K-Line and even Lionel had them before, but I really like the paint schemes that they've been doing on them. He says, Asian knocked out of the park with that right away Great Northern. Yes, they did. Mr. Great Northern back here has been running fantastic. I actually prefer, so if you ask me, the proportions are slightly oversized on the 2880 Bull Moose that I have. Because if you look at the tender of that thing, and you look at the boiler of that thing, and then you look at the size of the windows on that thing, and this guy kind of has that going on too. I need to put some people inside it. There are a couple of proportions on the right-of-way engines that just are a little bit off. and off in a bigger way. Like, they're larger than O scale in some cases, or what O scale should be. And I feel like this one does the proportions a little bit better than the 2AAO. Granted, these are the 90s. No one was really doing this back then. No one was making scale, articulated, detailed brass engines with pre-recorded sound effects from the actual whistles and everything. Nobody was doing that. Right Away was truly innovative for model trains. But the thing I like is this tender, though it's longer than my bull moose, this tender is a little bit narrower, and so it doesn't look as funny hauling semi-scale freight. Now, nearly all of the freight cars that we pull, even though they're semi-scale, are the Rail King size. So they're not quite as small as you might be led to believe. So they still look good behind even my 844. These are semi-scale double-door box cars. These are the same size as the regular box cars, so those look a little bit downsized, obviously, but they still have nice not separately applied, but they have nice molded in details and good roof details and everything. I like these cars a lot. I run them a lot. But as I've been realizing that the Steam Era Classics stuff from Atlas is scale, super detailed, and are this size being scale, I'm getting more of them because, again, I can run them behind my Lion Chief Mikado. Looks great pulling full scale 40-foot Woodside reefer cars. Even that boxcar back there. I've seen some K-Line boxcars and even some MTH Premier boxcars that are massive. And then these boxcars are a smaller size. So they're scale though, so they appease all the scale gods, but they also work well with the rest of my collection here. Again, kind of teaser. I'm still in the mindset of that video because I just finished filming that recently, so just in the editing phase. That'll be fun. Let's see. Kudos to Bob Wagner for making one of the best lines of O-scale rolling stock, in my opinion. Aiden, I would have to agree. Yeah, I mean, again, he didn't really make the design for these because these cars have been around for ages, but the paint jobs, the artwork, I got some really cool cars on this line here. They look fantastic. Don't limit yourself to just Woodside reefers. The hoppers, boxcars, and caboose are also wonderful. Yep, I've got a couple of boxcars right now. I don't really do a whole lot of coal trains. I've got a nice line of UP coal hoppers that are back there, but for some reason, I mostly do like boxcars and reefer cars. I don't do a whole lot of gondolas. I don't have any auto racks still. Don't do a ton of flat cars. Yeah, it's mostly box cars and reefer cars and a couple of random tankers. Oh, and stock cars. The stock cars, I've really been enjoying collecting those. Let's see, Washington Railboy says, ever gone to the Great Train Show in Puyallup? No, I have not, but my 1999 Subaru Impreza two-door coupe was from Puyallup. There's a Subaru dealership there. The guy purchased it new from there. They drove all over the country in an RV and flat-towed it behind their RV because it's a 5-speed. I almost said 5-speed here. I'm not in a JDM car. And I was looking for parts for my rusty, crusty 2000 silver Impreza coupe and came across that car that just needed a head gasket job and some other things, but the body was in fantastic shape. So a friend of mine out that way helped me get it and brought it all the way out to the Midwest. That's one of those cars I wish I hadn't let go. Oh well. But no, I have not been out that way. I mean, I've been to the Pacific Northwest twice in my whole life. And both of them were before I was into trains. Well, before I was back into trains. Again, as a kid, and with my dad and all that, and then growing up, getting more into car stuff. And now back with trains with my son. Yes, I know freight cars came in all sizes, but I don't like dwarfing the engines that are pulling them. And so that's a reason why I'm trying to keep my freight cars smaller. But smaller, a lot of times, it omits detail. And so that's why I've really liked finding these smaller freight cars that have all that detail on there, because they look great behind anything. So yeah, I know they're all over the place size-wise with stuff, but I'm trying to keep them not just for the uniformity geek in my brain. Like, I accidentally end up getting things looking very uniform, and things have to be arranged a certain way, even though in the real world, in a freight train, they wouldn't care. You'd have like two of them of the same color next to each other, and then a whole bunch of random empty flat cars, and a whole bunch of hoppers, and then one tanker car, and a whole bunch more hoppers. Completely disorganized by our brains, but organized by where things need to get dropped off for the train. Grande trains! Hey, Data. Oh, you said hey, Dadified. That's me. Steamera Classics. Tim asks if they're 36-foot reefer cars. Yes. But they also are 40-foot reefer cars. The 36-foot reefer cars are actually not only just shorter than these, but even shorter than like the semi-scale, old-school Lionel Woodside, kind of more toy-like ones. And that was my first experience with an Atlas reefer cars. I got a 36-foot one, and I didn't realize it was a 36-foot one. I'm like, why is this thing so tiny? Super detailed, but it's tiny. And I didn't like that. Until I got more of them. Those are pretty much, there's 3 of them I've got that I like to pull behind my 080 switcher around the elevated line, because when they're smaller but they're closer to you, they don't seem small. David's in here. Hey, buddy. Congrats. He knows what I'm talking about. Noah says he does box cars, tank cars, hopper cars, flat cars, stock cars. Yep, the whole shebang. It's great. Hunter says it's great MTH is making affordable scale diesels in the Rail King line. Yeah, sure. So is Lion Chief. I've got a Lion Chief RS3. That's technically an RS2. And it's scale. I think my GP7 is technically scale as well. I ran that at the clubhouse recently, and it was fun pulling stuff around. I think somebody had like a scale GP9 there. It was more detailed than my Lion Chief, but it was the same size. I'm like, okay, cool. O gauge is fickle. There's like 4 different sizes. Oh man, you really need to stay tuned for the video on Friday then. Grande Trains, you'll enjoy that. I hope everyone enjoys it. It's never my hope that I make something that everyone's like, At the end of the day, I'm an entertainer. I like to make stuff that you guys like. And just the subject of that entertainment is trains. But no, yeah, O-Gauge does get really confusing. All sorts of names, all sorts of sizes. Companies don't use the names of those sizes appropriately. This is O-Scale. Is it? This is O-Gauge. Alright, but... wait, this is traditional size. Okay, so that's like your 64 box car. No, it's actually smaller. What? So yeah, there's all sorts of things that make O-Gauge, especially like even if you say I only collect scale, good for you. That's still probably difficult because half the time things on the box that are labeled as O scale are actually not scale. So yeah, O-Gauge is a little bit weird. And I think the only reason I've finally been able to like figure it out is I know consistently if I get that manufacturer's type of, like if I get 40-foot reefer cars, they'll all look like this. I know that if I get Rail King box cars that have a certain design to the moldings, that it's going to be that size every single time. And so unless you see this stuff in person, or you have this stuff, or you've made all the mistakes like I have, you're not going to be prepared when your scale Lionel stock car, the 40-ton stock car, is smaller than the Atlas Trainman stock car that looks like you could fit the 40-foot stock car inside it. It's like, they're both scale stock cars. Why are they different sizes? Because they're different sizes of freight cars. But if you're looking for uniformity or looking for things to make sense, that can get really confusing and really frustrating from a collecting standpoint. Larkid, what's up, Mikey Mike? How you doing, bud? How's the little guy, your little engineer? Do you still let him play with that caboose that you got that heat from? Guys freaking out that, oh, he's gonna break it. I'm curious. 148 is true, just that many manufacturers have to deal with semi-scale 027, and there's accessories 148, 143, and 150. Yeah. So here's the thing. If you go into O-gauge trains, treating it like a model railroad, like a traditional model railroad, it gets really frustrating, I'm sure. If you're trying to make scale, recreate true-to-life kind of stuff, you've got a third rail, then yeah, the getting stuff to be the same size and that consistency can be difficult. But Lionel trains did not start off as model scale railroading like HO and N and stuff like that. They started off as toy trains for kids, and the sizes and all that stuff didn't really matter as much because it was just a toy. Like Hot Wheels, love Hot Wheels, but the size of this small compact sports car is the same size as the dump truck, is the same size as the Ferrari, is the same size as the school bus. They're, people collect them and people use them sometimes on like model train layouts and stuff. But they're toys, so they don't need to adhere to a certain scale because it's got four wheels and it goes vroom across the floor and underneath the refrigerator, so it's gonna be impossible to get back out, get the broom out and kind of fish it out kind of deal. But yeah, so when folks treat O scale like HO scale, like the rivet counters do, then yeah, you're gonna get all of your sizes and everything is accurate. But if you treat O gauge like the toy trains that they started out to be, then you got a little bit more leeway. And that's when they say the third rail is for fun. That's just my opinion on it. Yeah, no, there's every time I see people quoting like the actual scale sizes, I'm like, these aren't toy trains for you. These are model trains. These are supposed to be true to life sized things. And while the detail on this thing is immaculate, I love all the separately applied details, and these guys even, the little latch opens so that way you can open and hopefully not break the ice doors up here. At the end of the day, it's still got a lobster claw. They're scale size, but they're not true to life stuff. If you really want, I feel like if you really want to do O scale to treat it like a scale modeling environment, then that's why O scale 2-rail exists. That's why that guy at that booth converts stuff from 3-rail to 2-rail, so that way everyone can enjoy them. I can enjoy this car on my 3 rails and not freak out as much about scale and size and all that stuff. Or I can put the scale couplers and the scale trucks on this and put it on a museum layout at the Durham down the road from here. And yeah, it's accurate. So there's, just because there's different ways to do it doesn't mean that there's a right way to do it. Because everyone's got other ways that they enjoy this. I like the diversity in this hobby. I like all the different ways that I see people enjoying it. I don't hate scale modelers. I don't hate 2-rail. I don't hate folks that are trying to do a certain prototypical thing. I don't like when they don't like everything else that, and they go to, many of them, not all of them, many of them go to the trouble to talk down the not so prototypical side of things. Okay, that's where I run into issue with it, and I've run into times when folks are like, you know, you need to graduate from semi-scale, Mike. You need to ditch all the Rail King, ditch all the Lion Chief, and just go full scale. Once you go scale, you never go back. Like it's a rite of passage thing. And most of them are just teasing because they know that I'll never do that anyways. But some of them, like, I really believe have it in their heads that there's this superiority thing of it's either O scale or no. Maybe not no scale, because O gauge isn't really a scale. It's just a gauge. It's just the distance between the tracks. Howdy from Texas. Hi, Scott. Hey, Karsten. Hey, hello from Germany. Does this translate? No, I don't think it translates to German. New York Central and U.S. Army. Oh, Menards has... I missed the comment before, Steamroll Willie. Yes, Menards has 2 new F unit schemes. They are really getting some mileage out of their F units, aren't they? But to my knowledge, they all have road number specific dialogue, which I like. And I know that Lionel's rail sounds cab chatter isn't the most accurate stuff in the world. But it's just really nice to be able to press a button on a locomotive and hear them say the engine number that they're in. I don't know. I've always liked that, and I'm always bummed that New Legacy doesn't do that. Because they used to. But now it's Vision Line. Oh well. Semi-scale for life! Yeah, Steamer Willie. You're all on board with that. I mean, honestly, if all of your stuff is semi-scale, then that's its own scale, isn't it? As long as they're the same scale of semi-scale. Time to make a winter layout. Yes, my friend Kirsten's probably working on something there. I saw your Halloween thing. That was really cool. But yeah, we did the winter layout here. It's fun. I've actually got our friend Chris's train up there. My son threw a wreath on the front headlight, and it looks just like a Christmas train now. It just looks like a big old peppermint Christmas train with the Katy stripes down the side of it. Washington Railboy says, I like how vintage Lionel trains have a more play-like value with the accessories than the newer stuff. Yes, I agree. But some of my favorites, like we'll take this Milwaukee Road boxcar here, for example. This is definitely not post-war. But look, there's boxes in the top that get chucked out this spring-loaded door with a guy. So this has got the spirit of post-war, but the details and size of modern. I really like when manufacturers do that. I really wish Lionel would do that. I mean, shoot, they're all Bluetooth this, and like our trains cost more because they have Bluetooth. Like, all right, well, your $100 boxcar doesn't have Bluetooth in it. I mean, the Bluetooth speaker one does, but there's no... I should be able to take a remote or an app and have the cars do things, because K-Line was kind of on the precipice of that, even though they didn't work the greatest. But this one works great. Fun fact, this is actually a Williams by Bachmann operating car that's been dropped on top of a K-Line operating car. And I've ordered a couple more boards to be able to convert. I'm working on trying to convert the other one so that way it all works off my one remote. I'm not going to get that, am I? I wonder if it might be fun to do like some like live running session kind of stuff. Or have like a guest on and then like, hey, you show us stuff on your layout, give us a tour, and then I can return and do some on mine. But most folks aren't available around lunchtime. I get that. Unless they're passenger cars, they shouldn't have a third rail pickup. I mean, lights on a caboose, or power for the guy that chucks the box out of that Milwaukee Road car I just showed you. Sorry, the Milwaukee Road. Almost got killed there. Glenn says, Mike, when you say there was someone at York who was doing 2 to 3 rail, Was it just doing couplers or adding, deleting the center rail pickup? None of these cars had center. I see that I've put 2 and 2 together. There's no center rail pickup on these cars because there's no power to them. None of his cars had power. They're just woodside reefers. Oops, I kicked the camera stand. Let's see. Meanwhile, semi-scale is looked down upon because of the toy nature of them. They all run the same to me. Yeah, I mean, they all run on the same rails. I mean, shoot. Our friend Chris took the Pet Shop Express for a lap around Norm Charbonneau's layout. And that was also hilarious. I should take my my Dino Roars diesel. Our first Lionel train that we owned here. My son got that for Christmas. It's the same design as the Pet Shop Express. It's just got dinosaurs on it. That should be my travel companion. If I go to someone else's layout, that should be what we run around so that we don't take it as seriously, I suppose. Which is fun, but also, like, I really want to get my Bull Moose running better and be more solid so that way it's a better travel companion. Because Union Pacific, I feel like if I'm going to bring an engine to somebody's layout, it's got to be UP because of our theme here and everything. And the logo, for that matter, for the secondhand overland. But also the Bull Moose is great because it's able to cheat around corners. And it's big enough to be able to have a pretty decent presence on anyone's layout. So really want to make that one more travel worthy. Would like to bring that with me to the next York so I can just run it at whoever's layout will let me. Like, heck, bring it to the LCCA club layout there right when you walk in at York and run the Bull Moose there. Because nobody else is running that train and nobody else has Blue Nami'd it. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that has a Blue Nami Bull Moose in their roster. So let me know in the comments if you've seen another one. But it's like, if you see that train, it's like, oh, Dadified's got to be around here somewhere. No one, that's his train, you know? Like, everyone's got a consolidation. Everyone's got a Mikado. Everyone's got a 10-wheeler. Everyone's got a big boy. Nobody has a Bull Moose. That's part of the cool thing about it. If you haven't already, leave a like on the chat so that way YouTube doesn't think that I suck. But it looks like, wow, there's 27 still hanging out with us, and we're approaching the hour mark, so I better start wrapping this thing up here. Mr. Brains 4023 likes my Atlas Cup. Thanks, so do I. Thank you, Ross. Thanks for getting those for us. They're nice. Glenn says, sorry, I should have... locomotive converted, that's fine. Not sure if the locomotive can be converted. It would have to be 2-rail from factory. Locomotive would have to be converted. So anything with pickups for the center rail, and then also to get the grounding right, you do have to change some electronics to go from 2-rail to 3-rail with locomotives. My friend Chris's Trains and Things did a great video on converting 2-rail to 3-rail with, I believe it was an Atlas diesel that he did it with. But check him out if you want to see that. Did a great job on that. I'm not sure if the loco... Oh, there you saw that. I can always take pistons with you. Yes, I could take pistons, but pistons is a little weak. So if I put any amount of cars behind him, then yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be a terrible idea. That'd be way easier to travel with than a freaking Bull Moose. Man, did I get some looks in the airport when I had to take the Bull Moose out of my backpack. It's like, this looks like a bomb. No. But okay. Maybe the cylinders or some sort of thing that blends the explosive things and then goes kaboomski. Maybe all the gears look like an old school, like, timer. 4023 is my favorite big boy, and I have a poster of him in my room. Mr. Brains, that is awesome. We've got a poster of 4014 in my son's room, but not one of 4023. That's really cool. One of my favorite illustrations, paintings of 4023 is that cool one of him going through the snow. I believe it's Bill Fogg. He did a bunch of railroad paintings and artwork and stuff. And that was actually on a calendar that we are actually running because the 1969 Transcontinental Railroad 100th anniversary calendar works for the year 2025. All the days line up, just not the year, obviously. So we've been using an old 1969 Transcontinental Railroad anniversary calendar this year, and the first month, the January month, has Big Boy 4023 blasting through the snow. It's wonderful. Let's see. It was my grandpa's first Lionel engine. Whoa. Wait, so did he have like the JLC, like from the early 2000s 4023, or did he get like a... I don't think they made it in Legacy. I think they've only made it in JLC and then as an LCCA exclusive only a couple years ago. I'm curious to know which one he has. Double head him with UP Greyhound Challenger 3976, which we also have. I can grab the tender of 3976. But ours is the Lion Master variety. And then the 4023 that we have is also the Lion Master variety, but we made that one. I really hope Lionel does another run of Lion Master Big Boys, even if they are Lion Chief Plus 2.0 again. There's always folks looking for them. They always sell out. They're fantastic engines. I love ours. Also went through Epley Airfield with a Lionel Superliner passenger car in my backpack last year. They never said anything, but I'm sure the X-ray attendant was confused. Yeah, I'm sure a passenger car would look a little bit different, though, than a brass cylindrical locomotive with two motors and all the gears and everything and stuff like that. X-ray of a brass bull moose probably looks a little bit more like some sort of home-rigged up bomb than a Superliner car. But you never know. Yeah, I'm surprised they don't stop me for everything. It's funny to see the TSA's reactions to an engine going through the X-ray. Yes, David, you're absolutely right. Well, folks, my voice is getting a little bit shot from this sesh. It's been fun, so I'm going to wrap things up here. If you guys, let me know in the comments real quick, do you think it'd be fun to do, like, a whole Q&A session lunch thing, and then like the week leading up to it say, hey, I can have people send me questions if they're not able to make it to the Tuesday lunchtime time slot, and then they can just watch it later. I think that'd be a fun way to kind of tackle a Q&A, and we haven't done a Q&A in a while. And these live streams kind of act like that to an extent anyways, so thought that might be fun. 2005 was 20 years ago. Wow, it doesn't feel that long. No, Travis, you're absolutely right. My goodness. Well, cool. Yeah, I think that about does it for this. If you got more questions, Instagram and Facebook are probably the two easiest ways to get a hold of me. Thank you for watching the stream, even if this is after the fact. Thank you for joining me, especially, even if it was only for a little bit. Glad to have you here and to talk with you here in the chat. Always great connecting with you guys. And yeah, stay tuned Friday. I've already kind of alluded to a couple of the things in this video about stuff we're going to talk about in that video. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoy it. Leave a like on this especially, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks.